And welcome to the Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education regular public monthly meeting. Today is Monday, June 8th, 2026. The board met tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. here in the Harrison School Building, 104 Gray Street, West Caldwell, New Jersey. The purpose of that meeting was to discuss personnel litigation, miscellaneous, and old business matters. That meeting has been advertised and is in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. The matters discussed will be made public when confidentiality is no longer required, and formal action pursuant to said discussion shall take place only at a meeting to which the public has been invited. Tonight, the regular public monthly meeting is happening at 7:02 p.m. here in the Harrison School Gym. The Board of Education meeting is being streamed live, but all community questions and comments will be welcomed here in person only. The Caldwell-West Caldwell Board of Education regular public monthly meeting is also in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act and NJSA 10:4-6, also known as the Sunshine Law. Notices have been sent to the Progress in Caldwell, New Jersey, the Star Ledger in Newark, New Jersey, and Tap into West Essex. Notices have also been posted at the Board of Education business office here in the Harrison School Building and have been delivered to the clerks of the Borough of Caldwell and the Township of West Caldwell for posting. Brian, can you please take the roll?
Yes. Mr. Diambola.
Here.
Ms. DiMartini.
Here.
Ms. Landolfi Jefferson. Ms. Mack. Ms. Grosso.
Here.
So we have 3 voting members present. We have a quorum.
Great. Can you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Brian, are there any communications for the board?
There were none.
Okay. We're going to move to the superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight for our superintendent's report, we have several things on our agenda, and I'd like to start by asking Jude and Audrey from Grover Cleveland Middle School to come on up, and if you could come to the podium and share your information about what's happening at GCMS.
Good evening, Dr. Finari and the Board of Education. Thank you for inviting us to speak tonight. I'm Audrey from the House of Integrity.
And I'm Jude from the House of Knowledge. Last week, students attended a powerful assembly with a Holocaust survivor who recounted his experience during World War II. His story provided valuable insight into the challenges and resilience of those who lived through this period of history. On May 28th, the annual Spring Chorus and Jazz Band Concert and Art Show brought the GCMS arts community together for a wonderful evening of music, creativity, and artistic expression enjoyed by all.
From May 26th to June 12th, GCMS is holding our grade level food drive face-off. Each grade competes to see who could bring in the most food to support families in our community. The winning grades get an ice pop party. Field Day was held on Tuesday, May 26th. Each house competed in a variety of games to see who could gain the most house points by the end of the day. Courage is in the lead, followed closely behind by Citizenship. It will be down to the wire to see who the house champions are for the 25-26 school year. Government Comparison Night is being held tomorrow, Tuesday, June 9th, where our 7th graders will present and compare their projects on the government in different countries. Stop by the GCMS gym if you would like to spend an evening learning about the political systems of different countries and see different aspects of their culture on display.
One thing that being a house leader has taught me is how to be a better leader, and that in order to win, you have to work together.
One thing that being a house leader has taught me is that leadership is about serving others, not being in charge of them. Thank you for having us. Are there any questions?
Yeah, I just want to say that you both did such an awesome job. I get all choked up because, you know, to have the house leaders all through the year and this meeting, because I realize I'm looking at you and you're James Caldwell High School students, 1 week, right? 1 week from Wednesday. So excited. Congratulations to you both, and thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much to our middle school students. There's always so much happening at Grover Cleveland Middle School. It's a very busy place, and we love to hear from them. The next thing on our agenda for the superintendent's report is our recognition of staff who have been with the district for many, many years, and every year we want to make sure that we recognize those staff members. I'm going to start with our milestone years of service from 25 years and work our way up. So if the person whose name I call is here, if you wouldn't mind standing for your category, and then we want to recognize you with our applause, but I'll also read the names of those who could not attend this evening. So in recognition of 25 years of service, Mia Amaker, who I believe could not come to our meeting this evening.
We're going to clap for her.
We're going to clap for her anyway. Mrs. Amaker is a teacher of art at James Caldwell High School. Also, in 25 years of service, we have Eileen D., teacher of math at James Caldwell High School. And we have Tara Di Mattia, who is a teacher of English at James Caldwell High School. Okay, we have one of our staff members who is at 30 years of service, so I don't believe she's here this evening, but if we can recognize Susan Corey Nogales, our guidance counselor at Grover Cleveland Middle School. Oh, okay. Mr. You're right, Brian, there is a second page. So I'm going to go back to 25 years of service. So we have more people. So we have, in 25 years of service, we also have Alicia Giancarelli, who's a special education teacher at James Caldwell High School. We have Diane Jakobchuk, who's an elementary school teacher at Washington Elementary School. We have Mara Lobato, who is a math teacher at Grover Cleveland Middle School. Lori Minority, who is a kindergarten teacher at Wilson Elementary School. And Diana Reyes, who is a Spanish teacher at Grover Cleveland Middle School.
Yay.
Okay, at 35 years of service, we have Sharon Donlin, who's an elementary teacher at Lincoln. 40 years of service, Anita Dunphy, at elementary teacher at Lincoln. And at 45 years of service.
I feel like we need a drum roll for this.
Drum roll, please.
45 years. We need a drum roll, Lydia. Come on.
45 years of service, Suzanne Callahan, Sue Callahan, English teacher at James Caldwell High School. Congratulations. And also at 45 years of service, Michael Tishkoyan, teacher of social studies at Grover Cleveland Middle School. You know, when I think about all of the educational power in this room, for all of you who have been with the district for such a long time, and students here have had the benefit of working with you, each of you, you give a great amount of yourselves and a great amount of love and a great amount of your heart to teaching, and we thank you for all of that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. And also, I just want to say too, like, not just the amount of young minds and hearts that you've touched, but you're all like household names in a positive way. Like, as parents, we all love you and feel just as connected to you because you care for our children. 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You're as annoyed and aggravated with them as we are, and you put up with it. And we love you all for that, and we thank you for sticking by us here and by sticking by our kids and choosing to be here every single day. So thank you all so very much.
Now, some of the names I just read are actually leaving us as retirees, and there are a few folks who are also on this list of retirees that were not recognized at this point for the number of years of service, but have still been with us for quite some time. So if the person whose name I call is here, Please stand to be recognized, and we have a couple of administrators who are here to recognize you. If that person is not here, then we'll make sure that your recognition, we have a little gift for each of our retirees, that those gifts are provided to them outside of this meeting. The first person that I'd like to recognize as a retiree is Mr. Dexter Meeks, who is one of our custodial staff at James Caldwell High School, 47 years of service.
Oh my goodness. Yay, Dexter.
The next two retire, well, no, actually, we're going to go in order. So the next retiree, I'm going to ask Mr. Gayer, who I know I saw a little while ago, if you could please come up and recognize, and I don't know if you want her to come up with you, but Miss Anita Dunphy, 40 years of service, elementary school teacher at Lincoln Elementary School.
Sure.
Adam.
Thank you.
Oh, good. Okay, terrific.
So
Thank
Mrs.
you.
Duffy, congratulations on completing 40 years. I'll share a few things about Mrs. Duffy that you may not know. Mrs. Duffy completed 40 years of service here in the Caldwell-West Caldwell schools, teaching both the
Mr. Garrett, can you use the microphone? We want at home.
we
for
want
them
everybody
pick
to
it
hear
up.
one.
You put it on the podium. I know I would rather, but we want to make sure at home that they can hear. So, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Sorry, Ms. Dunphy. Sorry to.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Thank you. Mrs. Dunphy has completed 40 years in the Caldwell-West Caldwell schools, teaching elementary school at both Jefferson and Lincoln schools. She's a professional who has built strong relationships with students and expertly managed her classroom. She took great pride in handling her own discipline issues and fostering responsibility among her students. She may seem a little serious to some at first glance, but once she was in the classroom with her students, she was someone who loved to laugh, have fun, and enjoyed learning alongside her students. I also noticed that she's a talented artist whose creativity and personality brought joy to her classroom and our entire school district and community. So Mrs. Dunphy, we're going to miss you. Congratulations.
Sure, thank you very much. I know it's time to go when students that I've had are now subbing in my class. So last week I had one who subbed twice. So it's been a pleasure working here. I had a lot of fun in both Jefferson and at Lincoln, and I will definitely miss all the people I work with. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you want me to call the next ones? Yes. All right. Another retiree I would like to call up is Abby Landau. Abby, can you come on up? Hello. Miss Landau came to teaching as a second career. She worked as an attorney prior to teaching 19 years at Lincoln Elementary School. She taught 4th and 5th grades under my time there in the last 15 years. And Abby, you are known to be one of the kindest individuals on our staff and in the district and in the world as far as I'm concerned. Someone who was always willing to help others. Abby worked very long hours. As a principal, I would leave. Usually there's one more car in the lot. There used to be two, Mrs. Dunn and Miss Landau. Now there's one, Miss Landau. Miss Dunn retired a couple of years ago. She has a great sense of fun and was deeply committed to all of her students and colleagues. She helped organize one of our most popular events each year and ran it really well, USA Day, which honored veterans from near and far, and we thank her for that. And the one fun fact about Miss Landau is that anytime we had an assembly and the music came on, she was the first one to stand up and start dancing, so it's always fun to watch. But Abby, congratulations, we're going to miss you. Thank you for everything.
So
I wasn't planning on speaking, but I just want to say that my teaching career has really made me a better person in so many ways. More patience, learning about the creative side of myself. And as I said the other night at the retirement dinner, there's never a boring day in elementary school, and I've loved it, and I will miss it, but it's time for the next adventure. So thank you so much for this opportunity. It's surreal saying goodbye, but thank you so much.
Mrs. Polera, can you step up here? Thank you. Mrs. Polera is also retiring. We have 3 classroom teachers retiring. That's 25% of our classroom teachers at Lincoln School in 1 year. Mrs. Polera, my first hire, I believe. You are my first hire at Lincoln School. Mrs. Polera quickly became an important part of our school family at Lincoln. She's a dedicated educator who taught both first and third grades at Lincoln School with care and enthusiasm. She was literally beloved by students and families, adored by everybody. For her kindness, her patience, and her nurturing approach. I mean, she has the perfect personality to teach first grade. Lots of hugs, lots of love. She brought positive energy to our school each day and helped create a welcoming environment at our school, which we value very much for all. I wish you the best of luck and congratulations.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, I would like to ask Mr. Misbahuddin to come on up. He is graciously pinch hitting for Mr. Devlin, who couldn't be here this evening, and Mr. Misbahuddin would like to say a few words about Ms. Powell.
Yeah, Liz will come join me. On behalf of the JCHS administration, it is our privilege to recognize and celebrate Elizabeth Powell as she begins her well-deserved retirement. Liz has been an educator for 29 years, 26 of those has been spent at JCHS. She's been a cornerstone of our special education department and an integral part of the JCHS community. Throughout her career, she has exemplified what it means to be an educator, approaching each day with professionalism, compassion, dedication, and an unwavering commitment to her students. Liz has always been an advocate for her students. She consistently goes above and beyond to ensure that every student feels supported, valued, and capable of success. Her patience, expertise, and genuine belief in her students has helped countless young people develop not only academically, but personally and emotionally. The positive impact she has had on our generations of students will continue long after they have left our halls. Equally significant has been Liz's impact on her colleagues. JCHS teachers have described her as a mentor, role model, trusted advisor, and friend. Whether welcoming a new teacher to the department, offering guidance to a colleague, sharing resources, or simply providing a listening ear, Liz has always led with kindness and generosity. Her calm demeanor, thoughtful perspective, and wonderful sense of humor have helped countless colleagues navigate challenges and successes throughout their careers. One colleague who knows Liz well had this to say: Liz always has been a fierce advocate, not only for our special education department, but for colleagues across the building. She consistently has the best interests of others at heart and works tirelessly to support those around her. Just as importantly, she's a dedicated advocate for her students, always ensuring they feel supported, valued, and understood. Liz leads with compassion, and anyone lucky enough to work alongside her knows how truly special she is. I'll just add personally, Liz, I've seen you teach, and your ability to go minute to minute, transition from a content specialist to a special education teacher and back is as good as anyone I've seen, and so it's been a pleasure. While we will certainly miss her daily presence, we are grateful for all that she has contributed to JCHS over the past 3 decades. We thank her for her extraordinary service, her dedication to students, and the countless ways she has enriched our school community. Liz, congratulations on your retirement. We wish you many years of happiness, good health, relaxation, travel, and cherished time with family and friends. Your impact on JCHS will not be forgotten, and you will always be a valued member of our family.
Thanks, everybody. So when I started, I was younger, and Sue, you kind of counted in, not quite, but I always called the teachers who welcomed me, who had been here for many years, the old guard. So I kind of use that, and now I'm the old guard, and I encourage people to mentor, and I like to mentor people as well, because that's what I got. And if you can get those expectations right from the get-go, I think it's a huge impact. So I thank the district has always been so good to me in welcoming me, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter. I'm off to Ireland in July 3rd. So thank you, everybody.
Among our retirees who I don't believe are here with us this evening are Elizabeth Coogan-Russell, who is our Spanish teacher at James Caldwell High School with a service of 26 years. I'm just going to remind everyone that Ms. Reyes is also a teacher of Spanish, Grover Cleveland Middle School. We mentioned her earlier as a 25-year of service and teacher in our district. So Ms. Reyes, again. And our final retiree, who I don't believe is here this evening either, is Mr. Dave Kuzmarek, guidance counselor, Grover Cleveland Middle School, 18 years of service. Okay. Again, to our retirees, I have one word of advice. Please do more with your retirement in retirement than I ever learned how to do. Because supposedly I retired in 2018, and look at me now. Enjoy. It's a transition, and it sounds like all of you have wonderful plans. So have a wonderful retirement. Okay. The next item on the superintendent's report, I would like to ask some of the members of our administrative team, including, I'm going to bring Mr. Gayer back up to the microphone, Mr. Misbahudin back up to the microphone, and have Ms. Jacobs also join us. We're going to give the annual update on our district 5-year strategic plan. This is year 5, so we have some interesting things to share with you, and I'm going to ask the team to come on up.
And if anybody would like to leave the meeting to go after, we're not insulted at all. So please feel free to use this as a transition time to exit, but we, of course, if you'd like to stay, we welcome it. But yes, absolutely. Thank you for coming. Bye. She did clear the room.
Oh, okay, great.
It's okay. Madeline's, if you guys want to move up, feel free, or you can stay in the back, whatever you'd like to do.
Very cool. All right, thanks. Okay. So I'd now like to begin our program, our presentation of the Caldwell-West Caldwell Strategic Plan, update for year 5. Before we start, I just want to thank not only the administrators who are present this evening who are going to help with this presentation, but the entire district administrative team. We have talked about strategic planning consistently for quite a long time, and we had a few other folks that were going to come this evening and join us, but life gets in the way, so you know we are a team of 4 this evening. So first thing I'd like to do is just to introduce the fact that this strategic plan began in 2020. The 2020-2021 school year was a time that the district was looking to create some long-term goals and objectives. And Before I get into the information on the slides, I had a colleague who in her introduction to strategic planning always asked this question of the team of folks that were going to work on a strategic plan. Imagine yourselves walking into the doctor's office and looking at the magazines that are sitting on the coffee table in the doctor's office. You know how many years ago this was, right? No telemed back then. And what would you like that Time magazine cover to say about your district? So in 5 years. And so this plan really answers a lot of those questions. What would we like to see? What did the district project they wanted to see 5 years ago? So a strategic plan is a roadmap that defines an organization's long-term vision, identifies its core goals, and outlines the specific steps and resources needed to achieve them. A strategic plan is a bridge between where your organization is today and where it wants to be in the next 3 to 5 years, that aligns your entire team around a shared purpose and provides a framework for daily decision making. So some of the things that came out of that strategic planning initial conversation, the process was an involved process that included community, administrators, teachers, and it was also something that the district was going to monitor annually over that 5-year period. So through a series of progress monitoring meetings, teachers and professional learning based on goals and 5-year strategic planning goals were critical because the district's goals were going to be very tightly aligned with each of the school's goals and objectives. And that's still true today. And the critical piece, you know, we've just recently presented our budget for the 26-27 school year. And so the point of a strategic plan is also to make sure that the dollars and cents that we have in our school district are applied toward the things that we felt as a school district. I say we because although I wasn't part of the district at the time, I certainly have been a community member for about 14 years, maybe more now. And it's a time for all of us to really make sure that our dollars and cents are placed in priority areas so that our district can improve in many ways. Okay. So this presentation is intended to summarize the activities that have gone on, to share progress toward meeting the goals that were established, and to share highlights that cross over the entire plan. The goal areas that were identified in 2020-2021 included teaching and learning, student wellness, equity and inclusion, family engagement, and technology.
Hi, everybody. I am going to speak to you about the teaching and learning goals and progress we made toward them over the last 5 years, specifically focusing on reading scores and work around reading instruction between 2021 and today. And I think it's important to recognize one thing we may have forgotten, which is we were coming right out of the COVID time, and there was a lot of learning loss. So reading scores were low, and there was a lot of work to be done, which we have, and I'm going to share some points with you. First of all, in 21-22, there was professional development at the elementary level through grade 6 on teaching guided reading, and we expanded our reading academic intervention program for students at the elementary level. Specifically, each of the 4 elementary schools created positions for an academic interventionist who was a reading specialist as well, and we started a program called Rocket Readers at that point. Rocket Readers was a pull-out program for students who were showing difficulty with meeting reading standards in the primary grades. The following year, we expanded our supports. All special education teachers at the elementary level and all classroom teachers pre-K through 3 received professional development in a program called Phonics First, which is a multisensory phonics program. And this was a program that helped teachers meet the needs of students within the classroom itself in a differentiated fashion. Additionally, we created the Smart Summer Academy and expanded it. As I said, there was a lot of learning loss, so we offered summer programs for students in our district on a much larger level at that point to help close the gap, and it was very successful. We also spent money to create what's called book rooms, which included resources for classroom teachers, differentiated leveled books that teachers could share across the school, and we still use those book rooms regularly today. The next year, the standards changed, the learning standards changed in New Jersey, so we had to revise our curriculum, and we also added the use of the Dibbles assessment, which continues to this day, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as time goes on here. In 24-25, we expanded the Rocket Readers program. It was originally targeting students in grades 1 through 3. We expanded it to include students in kindergarten through 3rd grade. We also expanded our in-house professional development. We created teacher leader positions within each of the elementary schools where our own teachers acted as mentors and supports for the other teachers in the building, both new and veteran teachers, to help them better teach reading instruction. We also used an ed camp model, which you may have heard of before, but I think for the parents out there in the community, when we have a 1 o'clock dismissal, and most of those 1 o'clock dismissal days, sometimes I'm outside and the parents say, okay, have a good day. I say, well, I will have a good day, but I'm not going home now. I'm going to ed camp. We have professional development, and that was led by our own teachers. And it included many different types of professional activities, but a series of them were around reading instruction. Okay. So the next chart will show, the line graph shows 2 different colors. The green highlights the goal that we set in the 5-year strategic plan for the percentage of students grades 1 through 6 that we were hoping to see reading at or above grade level over each of the 5 years. And you can see in 2021 where the district started with 49% of the students at that point. Our peak was actually last school year, we hit 74%, and this year we're at 71% of our students reading on or above grade level. So the goal was partially achieved in the middle. You can see there is a little bit of a gap now, but this is very positive. The trend is up, and I do want to point something out. There's real data out there that's been released a couple of weeks ago about reading trends across the country, where there is a downslide in just about every state that was a part of this study. And you know, in the last 5 or 6 years, we've gone up 22 points. So we're on the up there. Some highlights and targeted supports. Well, we'll focus on a few areas. For resources for students and families, as mentioned, we have classroom libraries and book rooms. We have elementary reading specialists at each of the 4 elementary schools. We have a Rocket Readers program, which provides small group instruction for students who are struggling in reading in the primary grades, K through 3. And we provide regular progress updates to our families through many different communications about their reading progress throughout the school year. Supports for staff, as mentioned, we've had staff development. Specifically, we offer the Phonics First multisensory program for all teachers, special ed and K through 3 teachers in the district. We've improved our INRS, Intervention and Referral Service program. We've streamlined that, and we've been very creative and very successful with creating ways to support students within the classroom. We've created capacity in our own schools by assigning elementary teacher leaders and the use of reading specialists within each of the 4 schools. And of course, as I mentioned, we have job-embedded professional development each year, which would include things like Ed Camp, working with our ESL teacher, our reading specialists, and working with our data teams within the schools. Curriculum and assessment shifts. Well, we piloted a writing program this current year called the Haggerty Writing Program in the primary grades, and we've adopted that, or we're about to adopt that and put that into place next year for K through 3. It's also being piloted grades 4 and 5 this coming year. Our phonics program, Foundations, has been successful, but my understanding is next year is the last year that the company is offering that program, so we're looking to see if there's anything better out there. And next year we will pilot what's called the UFly program. It comes from the University of Florida, so we'll see. We hope to bring success with that phonics program. We've streamlined articulation between 5th and 6th grade teachers, which is necessary because there's a big jump, and there's been a lot of questions from teachers and parents and kids about, you know, how do we best support our kids going from elementary to middle school. So that's a regular practice that we do now in our schools. We have the Link It program, which is a data warehousing system and an assessment tool that we use to provide reports for teachers and parents, and also gives us data to work with in our schools to see how we're doing. And of course, we have the Dibbles assessment, which I mentioned. This is given twice a year to all students grades K through 3. It's a universal literacy screener, so we collect data from that as well to help decide what's best for our students. So that summarizes the K6 reading goals. Thank you.
I'll speak a little bit about the secondary goals, which were largely improving our math and ELA scores every year. And I'll give you a little bit of background. So just like Adam had said, coming out of COVID, we also hadn't really done a lot of testing. State tests were suspended for in 2020 and I think in 21. So just 21, 22, that school year was about getting back to building our muscle with taking tests, administering tests. And then what you'll see in those next 2 years was a lot of understanding our students better. So looking at the data, seeing, okay, where are our scores? What's surprising us? What's not? A lot of times when I had conversations with teachers, we would notice we're definitely teaching this standard, but the way that maybe we're asking the question on a homework assignment is different than the way the question looked on the test in May. And so we did a little bit of work to better understand how the test looks, align a little bit more, and then also make that consistent practice both within the grade level and across grade spans. And so you'll see some big jumps on the next slide in those school years. And then last year and more recently this year, then we started to really home in on specific students. And we saw, okay, yes, we're moving the scores up, but there's still some students that are not getting there. What are some extra things that we can do for them to help them improve? And we've seen some great success. So I can't report yet on the scores on the test that we just took this spring. I'll have those for you in the fall. But just the trend line over, these are the average scores, average number of students passing from 6th through 11th grade over the last 4 school years, and it's trending up, right? And I can give you the specifics. In ELA, we went up on average 12%, and in math, 14% from spring 22 to spring 25. So that's something we're really proud of. In the corner there, that box on the bottom left corner, there were 4 different tests where we had all-time highs last year in 6th grade ELA and 6th grade math, 9th grade geometry, and 11th grade math. So we're really, I think, trending in a positive direction. And a lot of that is due to the work of our students and teachers. Some of the supports you'll see that we put in were focused first on just like technology tools for our students, having online calculators and handheld calculators. We also had extra help sessions for our juniors. If you remember, that's the test students need to pass to graduate. So if a junior was struggling, we'd pull them aside, give them help during math or lunchtime or after school to get them ready for that graduation assessment. As far as for staff, like I said, a lot of time deep diving on the data, getting some more useful assessment tools so that they can better measure their students and give them practice, and just aligning our curriculum. So we attribute a lot of our success to what you see here on this slide. The next goal I'll talk about that was mostly worked on at the middle school and high school levels was our student wellness goals. And those largely centered on having our students feel comfortable in school, feeling connected to the school community. So in 21-22, the work was mostly around understanding our students, right? We had to create surveys to understand how they felt about school, also with parents, understanding what communication methods would work well. And then the following 2 years was a lot of work on then following up with that data. Okay, this student responded that they don't feel that connected to their school. Maybe their counselor should be checking in with them more. Things like having more social emotional lessons and helping students understand how to be successful in school were big goals that year. And then we started to realize towards the latter half of this goal work was that we also wanted to support students, especially in 6th and 9th grade. Those are the grades where the transition is hard, and we want to make sure that they feel comfortable in a new building. So we put extra work towards our time with those students. And you'll see here some of the highlights on the slide about our success in this area. So a couple things I'll just point out. Our students felt a lot more connected to the school community. 90% of JCHS students felt comfortable contacting their counselor. In the spring of 25, we had 16 more 6th graders knew and felt supported by their counselor from the fall to the spring. So we really targeted, that's that year we really started to push our attention towards 6th and 9th graders. And then this year, one thing I'm happy to report is that 88% of 6th graders and 98% of 9th graders feel connected to school through their involvement in activities. We found that encouraging students to be involved in extracurriculars connected them more to the school, and I think that's kind of obvious to how that works. And so we made sure to make sure these students know where and how they can get involved, because we have, as you all know, so many great things to be involved in at the high school. As far as drivers of the success, we expanded our counseling department. We added a college and career counselor, I believe it was now 3 school years ago. We also revised our code of conduct to better support and address behaviors, restructured our counseling supervision and support, and then also bringing in guest speakers and for students and families, adjusting our health and PE lessons to help students learn about social and emotional growth and health and nutrition as well. So those are the things I think really contributed to the success of this group, really led by the counseling team.
So I'll talk about our equity and inclusion goals. So equity is really about making sure that all of our students are getting what they need, and inclusion is about a sense of belonging in the school community. So in 21-22, we focused on professional development on inclusive practices. We trained staff in culturally responsive instruction. We expanded classroom libraries so that when kids are reading books, they saw themselves and they learned about people who were different from them. And we found that this kind of focus on belonging and inclusive practices reduced, in some ways, our referrals to students with IEPs. More kids were included in the classroom. The following year, we created our next 3-year comprehensive equity plan, and we also provided our staff professional development around language objectives, which supports our multilingual learners as they're learning English, not just the content, but also their language objectives. The following year, we decided to focus and prioritize this particular group of multilingual learners to help them make improved progress. And we set achievement goals for our multilingual learners. And in 24-25, we had targeted professional development and coaching of both classroom teachers and our ESL staff. So this year, we set a goal that our multilingual learners would demonstrate 15% points of growth. Now, we don't yet have our access scores from this spring, because they won't be released till the very last day of school, but the past few years we have seen improvements in our performance of our multilingual learners. Just a couple highlights. Our multilingual learners on linked assessments, their progress of bubble or better, which is kind of approaching, almost meeting and exceeding, rose from 4 to 7%. And we had in spring of 25 the largest percentage of students who exited our ESL program. So we had almost 20% of our students exit, which speaks to the work of our ESL team and also our classroom teachers who have applied a lot of the strategies they learned in professional development to support language acquisition. We also greatly expanded our programs for our families. We have many ESL family events that our ESL team is leading, and we're really proud of the work that they've done together. So some of the highlights in this area is we have had additional, as I mentioned, workshops. We have these family liaison positions, which are new, which are our ESL staff at the buildings are now supporting not just our ESL families, but any families whose home language is not English. And they are serving as access points for families who might not feel as comfortable contacting the school or not know who to talk to. So they're working to bridge the school and the home. We've had community connections events across different areas. We have Lexicate for translation. We've had a lot of professional development with many of our partners, the YMCA, the New Jersey Division on Civil Rights, AAPI, Montclair State, Up the Bar. Internally, we've developed our own protocol, training teachers of how to interrupt biased or hurtful comments when they hear them in the classroom. In fact, we had our staff leading a session at Caldwell University's Social Justice Symposium to share with other educators this particular protocol. We've increased our ESL department over the years. We used to have only 2.5 teachers in our department, K-12, and now we have 5 full-time teachers. And in terms of curriculum and assessment, we have some targeted reports for our teachers, which provide custom kind of interpretation of the access reports, which are the tests that our ESL students take in the spring, and it helps our teachers understand exactly what students can do and what they need next in terms of English learning. And we've developed at the elementary levels what we call our Spotlight and Heritage Month texts. So each month we have various different spotlights, and all of our teachers have read aloud texts so that they can introduce kids to new cultures, traditions, and that kids in the classroom can see themselves in those books.
So in the area of family engagement, from 2021-2022, there was a review of needs that were brought to the district's attention through stakeholders, and there was a development of appropriate measures for those, the strategies that would be used to address those needs. The following year, Families as Learning Partners, Community Connections, newsletters, and spotlights / Heritage Month texts were also incorporated, and some of that you've heard in some of the other goal areas as well. In 2023, community partners, there was an increased partnership with community stakeholders, universities, the community, and professional groups. In 24-25, those opportunities were expanded for parent engagement workshops and guest speakers, student-led volunteer efforts, including Volunteen. So our students are encouraged to, and I'll speak to that in a second, to be part of the supports for others in our community that are outside of our school district sphere. Okay. This year, the goal was that by the end of the school year, all graduating seniors would demonstrate an appreciation of local and/or global services, as evidenced by the completion of a minimum of 20 hours of community service. Some of the highlights in this area include the elementary service learning projects, including Thanksgiving food drives, making Valentine's cards for residents at Cranes Mill, making sure that our students feel connected to other folks in our community in a way that's meaningful to all. Over 60 community members and organizations presented at our Make a Difference Day at Grover Cleveland Middle School, sharing ways to contribute to our society. And the class of 2026 boasts 33 students who have completed 20 or more hours of service, and these students will be recognized at graduation by a notation in the graduation program. Some of the driving successes here include Families as Learning Partners, community connection events, and guest speakers. We had several of those presentations this year, and those were not only, most of them were not only presented live, but were also streamed, and for many of them were also posted on the district website, some for a limited amount of time because of the copyright laws and all of those things that each of our presenters brought to the table. As Ms. Jacobs just mentioned, we had a number of family events for our multilingual learners. Principal and district newsletters were part of this effort. Link at Parent Portal, translation tools, and communication to communicate with all of our families. For those of you who may not realize it, our district website, for example, can be translated into one of many languages. There's a feature at the top of the website, and so documents that are on our website and the website itself is translated automatically. Social emotional learning lessons in grades 9 through 12, health classes, and also the 6th through 8th grade advisory. Okay, so in the area of technology, which is our last goal in the strategic plan, 2021-2022, the district moved towards the one-to-one initiative, which is by now pretty well established in our district. Increased Promethean boards at each of the schools. There were iPads also included at the elementary level. In 22-23, professional development workshops on hardware and software and instructional strategies for the use of that technology to increase student engagement. In 23-24, the district did a process check, so technology lesson plans were submitted and reviewed for feedback, and they identified exemplars so that other teachers could take a look at what some of their colleagues were doing and perhaps incorporate them into their own lessons. 24-25 saw an expansion of learning with the exploration of AI and its implications for the use in the classroom. Some of the highlights for this year, first of all, the goal itself was that by the end of this school year, all students and teachers will have been trained in and utilized technology to enhance and differentiate instruction as evidenced through classroom observations included in the one-to-one initiative across all aspects of teaching and learning. Some of the highlights included teachers have a repository of lessons and lesson tools to draw from in their own planning. Students have seamlessly transitioned to using technology in new ways, podcasting at the high school, creating presentations at the middle school, and coding and robotics platforms at our elementary schools. Staff members continue to engage in and lead professional development as new tools and to aid instruction enter our workspace. Driving successes, highlights, and target supports. Supports for students included digital literacy lessons, updated devices on a regular basis, and once again, the inclusion of the Promethean boards in classrooms. Support for our staff included professional development on tools and hardware, exemplar lessons, and expansion of on-site licenses. So what's next? In the next few months, we're going to be coming back to you with proposals and goal language for our 26 through 2029 strategic plan. Part of the reason that we're only going to be looking at a 3-year plan is, as you know, we're going to be transitioning in the district after next year. We'll be working on transitioning to new leadership, and so the district administrative team felt strongly that having a new superintendent come into an environment where there is a year of a strategic plan under our belts with the ability to work through established goals in year 2 and then plan for the next strategic plan in year 3 of this plan made sense for the overall, not only the ease of transition of your new superintendent in 2027, 2028, but also the ability to really have a grounded understanding of what the goals of the district are and where those goals need to lead in the future. So in the spring of 2026, we asked for input from key stakeholders. There was a community and staff survey that was sent out. The district administrative team was also engaged in conversation around what our next strategic plan would include. And we are also having conversations in our board committees specific to topics such as teaching and learning, finance and facilities, policy, and all of them, personnel, and making sure that all aspects of our district's inner workings are part of that strategic plan. In the summer of 26, we expect to finalize the goal areas of teaching and learning, operations, culture and climate, and creation of building-based goals and action plans that tie into that strategic plan. So we want everything to tie together so that any time, whether it's board goals or school goals, that we're all speaking the same language with those new goals. In late summer or early fall of 2026, we'll be coming back to you with a presentation of that strategic plan. And we know that some of the things that the district has felt strongly about over this past 5 years will grow into the new plan, while some other areas will also be added. That's really it, other than the thank yous. So I joined the team this year, but you'll see on this slide that there are staff, administrators, our Board of Education, our families, and our students who have all been deeply engaged in this 5-year work. And we just want to officially say thank you to all of those who were involved, and we invite you to be part of the next 3-year process. Okay. Board members, if you have any questions for us, please let us know.
I feel like a comment? Can I just have a comment?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
I just want to say, I just want to say thank you. You know, I came on as a board member, and you were already like you already had a couple years under your belt, and I remember like being a part of surveys and things before, and then getting a chance to be on the board and see all the work that goes behind the scenes, and that you're constantly going back and checking in and seeing, you know, how are we doing things? Can we do it better? And as a parent, to really see the strategic plan definitely trickle into the schools, into the HSAs. You know, I can recall years ago not always seeing, you know, the announcements that went out at the end of the week in other languages. Now that is just a part of it. All of the feedback to parents about, you know, if you need support, looking at the Ed Foundation, the grants that people wrote in to get help for multilingual students to help them like with their testing. So thank you all so much for doing that, because it's a tremendous amount of work, not only to create a plan like this, but to ensure that you're actively doing it with integrity. So I just want to say thank you, and this was awesome to see.
Yep, and I just would like to also just echo Terry's comments and thank all of you and the administrators and staff that aren't here, our teachers, for all of the hard work that you do. I echo Terry in saying that, like, as a parent, I have definitely seen from that aspect of it, and board member, of course, I've been around for quite a while, but to watch this, I was part of the inception of this, being on the board when we met, like, with the strategic planning company, and I really have seen the fruits of your efforts come down. And as a mom, I've seen the direct educational impact on my own children in various ways, socially, emotionally, and academically. So thank you. I also just really want to take a moment, being the last formal board meeting of the, we're going to have one on the 22nd of June, but I'm sure people will be in vacay mode, so I want to say it right now, to thank you, Dr. Fenari. I will say this time last year, I'll talk about it in mom speak, like we had a sick child, the board. It was a very sick child. It had a temperature, it was cranky, it was not happy, and we felt like we didn't know how to fix it and make it better. And you were just what the doctor ordered. So all of your hard work and how you have vested so much time, and you don't act like an interim superintendent, you act like you are our superintendent. And on behalf of the board, I just want to give you a wholehearted thank you for that. And to say I also appreciate the forethought, because we will be updating the community as to the next steps with the superintendent search that are imminently approaching us. And I thank you for your humility and your wisdom and forethought to really guide the leadership team to, like, it's only going to be another 3-year plan because we have to plan for the future. So you have been a blessing to us, and I just want to thank you for that as well. Oh, and I have one more question, Dr. Fenari. Was this shared with the, our two curriculum members are not here. Was this plan shared in curriculum and technology? Okay, just want to make sure. Okay.
And I officially just one more time want to thank my co-presenters. They not only did they do the yeoman's job in putting this presentation together, but the conversations are always so insightful, and I know that it's also a representative of all of their administrative colleagues. And once again, thank you to all of you. And yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we're ready to move on, I think, right? President's report, school's over next week. We're excited. Grover Cleveland graduates next Wednesday, 4 p.m. The high school's graduating at 10 a.m. next Thursday. So very excited. We'll miss our class of 2026 as they move on to the real world, and excited for our 8th graders to join the high school. Like Mr. and Ms. Abudin said, there is so much wonderful things happening at James Caldwell High School, so excited for them to be a part of that. It's been an honor as the board to attend the scholarship awards, the art and technology shows. There's been a bunch of things we've been trying to be at. It's always tough this time of year, but we're very grateful for the invitations and very happy to, I mean, being on the board is it's not all fun and games, and when we get to go to these things and really like see the joy in the kids' faces and see the wonderful things, it's just as great as watching our own children, because we put a lot of time and effort. There's a lot of time spent. There's committee meetings, weekly committee meetings, monthly meetings, and so it's been a joy, and it is a pleasure to serve this school district. It's a great district, and so it's a pleasure to serve. Okay, so let's move on to our voting. We're going to go to committee reports. Actually, before voting, we're going to do committee reports. Terry, you want to do personnel?
Sure.
And then,
So the Personnel Committee met virtually on May 28th, 2026 at 1 p.m. It should be noted that this is the committee meeting that would normally be held in the first week of June. We met a little earlier. All members were present, including myself, Ms. Landolfi Jefferson, and Dr. Fenari. We reviewed the status of vacant positions for the upcoming school year with the anticipation that candidates for some of these openings may appear on upcoming Board of Ed agendas. Some of these openings are the result of retirements. The committee would like to note its deepest appreciation for the retiring staff members for their service to the Caldwell-West Caldwell Public School District. The committee went on to discuss several staff matters, including the need for updates to Schedule B athletic positions and Schedule C non-athletic stipend positions. We do note that Schedules B and C are part of the agreement between the Caldwell-West Caldwell Education Association and the Board of Education, and that any updates made to these schedules require consent from both parties. The next Board of Education Personnel Committee meeting will take place in July on a date yet to be determined.
thank you. Any questions? Chris? Sole members, Danny? Okay, we have policy. Chris?
Policy. The policy committee met virtually on 5/27 at 3:15. This was late in May, but for our June agenda, members included are myself, Ms. Lanford Jefferson, Dr. Fenari, and Mr. McCarthy. We first spoke about a policy that was put on hold for our previous meeting and then on this month's agenda. We then spoke about some policies recommended by Stress ESME that were alerted to us. The alert was divided into two categories, standards and assessment and general policy and regulations. The first section included mandatory policies, superintendent duties, curriculum, career education, and academic counseling, high school graduation requirements, and high school diplomas. Two regulations were abolished as a result of updates from corresponding policies. The committee moved to set second set of policies that center topics such as notice of board meetings and legal notices. The changes to this were due to the elimination of print and more onto social media and electronically. Other topics included changes to special education, use of federal funds, policies such related to school nutrition programs were also discussed. There were some policies abolished because of COVID for special education, and then and Dr. Fenari also pointed out two policies containing the alert did not pertain to us, which were because we're not a vocational school or we don't participate in the school choice program. Our next meeting is set for July. And that's the policy.
Terry, questions? No questions. Okay. Finance and Facilities Committee met via Google Meet on May 28th for approximately an hour. Board committee members present were myself, Julianne Grosso, Vice President Danielle Mack, Business Administrator Brian McCarthy, and Interim Superintendent Dr. Lydia Fenari. The committee reviewed all the finance and facility agenda items that we'll be voting on this evening. More specifically, the committee reviewed in detail the proposal from E&V Architects for the design and construction of the new 4.5 million 4,500 square foot field house at JCHS, which includes the demolition of the existing structure. Today, the board received the new plans from E&V, and we were able to begin review of that tonight in executive session. Finance and Facility Committee will also continue to review, and I'm waiting for feedback from the high school administration. And the hope is to very quickly move the architect forward with detailed plans so that we can go out to bid. And we will, of course, once those plans are completely finalized, once the high school administration has had a chance to weigh in, we will be sharing those plans publicly with the public. Okay? And not just via the board meetings. In September, we already discussed having things out at back to school night so that the community at large has a chance to review. Any questions?
No.
Okay, all right, let's move on to vote. So let's start with the approval of minutes.
I'll make a motion
Good.
to approve the minutes.
Yep, and can I have a second, Tara?
I will second.
Okay, Brian, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Mr. Diambolo.
Yes.
Ms. DiMartini.
Yes.
Ms. Grosso.
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
Okay, now we'll take public comments on agenda item only. Public participation shall be governed by the following. Participant must be recognized by the presiding officer, must preface comments by an announcement of their name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration. Participant may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Boards use the public comment period of the meeting as an opportunity to listen to citizen concerns, not to debate issues or enter into a question and answer or a cross-examination between the public and individual members. Please be aware that not all issues brought before the board will be resolved this evening. Boards respond to public comment by seeking additional information or by delegating the authority to investigate the issue to the superintendent or her designee. The presiding officer may interrupt, warn, and/or terminate a participant's comments if they exceed the allotted time or are objectively obscene. Participants may be civilly liable for any obscene, defamatory, or slanderous statements made during public comment. Would anyone like to come up and address the board on anything on the agenda this evening?
Good evening. My name is David Burstein. I live in West Orange. I wouldn't expect a school district to know how its contract rates compare across 600 other school districts in the state. That data just doesn't exist in one place, and that's why I started collecting them at pricereflect.com. I wanted to speak specifically on agenda item 7I, the special services consultant services. In that list, Caldwell-West Caldwell would approve a contract with Bayada Home Health Care at a rate of $75 an hour for either an RN or an LPN. Cranberry approved the same provider for the 26-27 school year at a rate of $68 an hour for an RN and $58 an hour for an LPN. Since the contract is for next year, perhaps there's an opportunity to revisit the rate with the provider, including whether RN and LPN services can be priced separately. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? All right, then we're going to close public comment right now. We're going to move on to voting. So we're going to start with curriculum and technology.
Upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve items A through I under curriculum and technology on this evening's agenda.
And can I have a second?
I'll second.
And Brian, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Mr. Diambolo.
Yes.
Ms. DiMartini.
Yes.
Ms. Grosso.
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
Okay, we'll move to personnel.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve items A through L under certificated staff and items A through H under non-certificated staff in personnel on this evening's agenda.
And can I have a second?
I will second it.
And Brian, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Mr. Diambolo.
Yes.
Ms. DiMartini.
Yes.
Ms. Grosso.
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
Okay, we're going to go to finance and facilities.
Upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve items A through P and R. We will table Q at this time on this under facilities on this evening's agenda.
Great, and just to, before I ask for a second, just to clarify for anyone following along on the agenda, that's for the ROD grant approval for the roofs at Jefferson and Wilson. The roofs are moving forward. We just haven't gotten the paperwork back yet from the state for the grant to approve it. So once we get the paperwork back, Brian was hoping to have it back Friday or today at the latest. We just haven't gotten it yet. We will be approving it, but we don't want it to mislead anyone and think that the roofs aren't happening. The roofs are happening at both buildings, okay? We're just tabling it until we formally receive the paperwork from the state, which is imminent, okay? And can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, and Brian, whenever you're ready.
Yes. Mr. Diambolo.
Yes.
Ms. DiMartini.
Yes.
Ms. Grosso.
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
And then finally, policy.
Upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, motion to approve item A under policy on this evening's agenda.
And can I have a second?
I will second.
And Brian?
Mr. Diambola?
Yes.
Ms. DiMartini?
Yes.
Ms. Grosso?
Yes.
3-0, motion carried.
And now we'll open up public comments to anything on or off the agenda. Once again, to remind everyone, public participation shall be governed by the following. Participant must be recognized by the presiding officer, must preface comments by an announcement of name and address. Statements are to be limited to 3 minutes duration. Participant may speak no more than once on the same topic until all others who wish to speak on that topic have been heard. All statements shall be directed to the presiding officer. Boards use the public comment period of the meeting as an opportunity to listen to citizen concerns, not to debate issues or enter into question-and-answer session or cross-examination between the public and individual members. Please be aware not all issues brought before the board will be resolved this evening. Boards may respond to public comment by seeking additional information or delegating the authority to investigate the issue to the superintendent or her designee. The presiding officer may once again interrupt, warn, or terminate a participant's comments if they exceed the allotted time or are objectively obscene. Participants may be civilly liable for any obscene, defamatory, or slanderous statements made during public comment. Would anyone like to address the board on anything off of the agenda this evening? Okay, great. Well, that being said, I'd like to make a motion to exit public session at 8:12 p.m. and enter into executive. If I could have a second.
Seconded.
And then Brian, if you could take the roll.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All against, nay. Any abstentions? Motion carried.
Great. Our next meeting, we will be having a meeting on June 22nd so that we can get some business done before the summer. The board will only meet once in July and once in August. We'll follow like a little summer schedule. So we will meet back here at Harrison School on June 22nd. Okay? Thank you. Congratulations to anyone who has a graduate next week. Take care.